Welcome to another episode of Viatorian Voices, where our conversations on the way give witness to the ministry and spirituality of walking with youth and those who go underserved, as we strive to do everything well so that through us Jesus may be adored and loved. In this episode, we explore God's invitations to young adults by talking with Viviana Tellez. Viv grew up in Elmwood Park, Illinois, where she went to high school, but her family, including her mom, Viatorian Associate Susanna Tellez, went to church in Chicago at Viator Parish, where she received her sacraments, participated in youth group, and went on the Viatorian Youth Congress. She went on to study sociology, women's and gender studies, and Latinx American studies at Dominican University in River Forest, Illinois. Now, she's a student at Catholic Theological Union, a graduate school of ministry and theology in Chicago, co-sponsored by the Viatorians. There, she's working toward a master's degree as part of Pathways at CTU, a living learning program for students from the Hispanic Latino, AAPI, Black, LGBTQ+, and other marginalized communities, with support from the Viatorians' Father John Lenan Scholarship. And it's definitely all still a bit surprising to her as it unfolds. I'm your host, Associate Dan Masterton. After you listen, help us tell the Viatorian story by rating our podcast in your favorite app, sending this episode link to a friend, and praying for and encouraging young men considering Viatorian religious life. Let's start by having Viv take us back to her Viatorian roots. For her, it all began with parish life, going to church at St. Viator.
I attended St. Viator Parish in Chicago. I grew up there. I got baptized there, and then I did my confirmation there. I distinctly remember Father Charlie, and then it was Father Moses and Father Pat. And Father Pat, I just enjoyed the messages that he would give. His homilies were amazing. He interacted well with everyone and super funny. But as I got older, my brother was involved in the youth group at St. Viator Parish. And I was like, that looks so cool. That looks like so much fun. So I decided to join the youth group. We were doing retreats for those that were going to get confirmed. It was a great experience. Associate Hector Obregon, he was the youth minister for that youth group, and he was awesome. He was very much for like any ideas that we brought to the table. And we also sang once a month. We had like youth mass. We did those retreats. We did like service work. And then obviously we went to VYC. So I attended VYC as a delegate. I think my first one was in like 2016, and kind of how I started getting involved in ministry work and like retreats and stuff.
Viv celebrates rich community experiences that helped clarify her vocation. Viatorians are dedicated to walking with youth and forming them to be leaders. And for us, it's not just a future-oriented ideal. It's empowering young people as preteens, teens, and young adults to be creative in offering ideas and to partner with them in bringing these ideas to life. Viv looks back to positive mentors who live this out with her and for her.
I feel like I've had a lot of moments where I'm reassured of my work. Sometimes I doubt myself and my leadership skills, but in every like environment that I was in, I was always reassured in one way or another. And like it definitely confirms to me that like, okay, this is something that I do enjoy doing and like doing it right. I feel like each stage in my life where I was involved in ministry, I've definitely had special moments. For example, like going back to my very first VYC. VYC is kind of like a big family reunion, you know, and it felt awesome just getting to meet other youth that were involved in ministry, either in their parish or their school that are part of the Viatorians. I'm like, wow, like we all just came together. We're sharing our faith. We're growing in our faith. And I made friendships from that first VYC, you know, and then we came back together like the next year. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how are you doing? You know, like it was like a fun time, but all within our faith. Hector, he was very for anything that we brought to the table. Oh, we have this idea. Great. Like, how can we do it? As well as when I was a part of ministry in Dominican University, my supervisor as a part of the retreats and vocations team, he was very much, you guys bring the ideas for the retreats. I'm just supervising it. And I liked that because it allowed me and my friend us both that were working in the retreats and vocations, it allowed us the freedom of being able to put together a retreat, like in whatever topic that we wanted to talk about, whatever theme we wanted to bring up. And it was really great since we were students, we were able to connect more with the students and kind of see what they needed. Throughout the school year, you have like different times that you're going through, especially kind of maybe towards finals, you're a little bit more stressed, for example. And then maybe towards the end of the year, you're finally done. So you might be kind of slacking a little bit, So like in each era of like the school year, like, since we were students, we were able to know what kind of retreat was needed at certain times for the students. So it was great, both, for example, those two like environments where I was given that freedom. And it was just, yes, we can definitely do this, especially like growing up, that ability to take charge and like do stuff that I would like to do and like others to experience as. And then that's how it is here too. Like in Pathways currently, I am a part of this organization as well for young Hispanic Latino leaders. And I'm also kind of given like the free range of what theological like reflection topics like do we want to talk about. So I think it's very cool to be able to be given that freedom of being able to be a leader and like put that into action.
Choosing and pursuing a career can be challenging, complex, frustrating, so faithful discernment strives to lean on prayer and reflection to seek God's invitations and respond, and not lose track of oneself in all that stress. Viv realized that she kept going back to something central and essential because it brought her happiness and joy, and that was where her career and vocation were waiting.
I didn't think I would ever be studying theology, especially in grad school. I feel like I always found myself going back into ministry work. And I was like, why? And I'm like, wait, I have so much fun doing this. And we're all journeying together. It's not just me trying to lead a retreat, for example. Everyone, that is participating as well as me, like we're journeying together. We're on that same level, journeying together in our faith. Even though, yeah, like I would lead the retreats, I never really found myself trying to be someone as like above. I'm like, we're both equal. I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out my faith journey. And you have like also questions. Okay, let's figure it out together. Why am I having so much fun interacting with so many people, like friends, while doing like ministry work? It's crazy how like you can get paid for like doing this, because I was just doing it kind of like for fun, like when I was growing up, like being in the youth group. And then eventually when I got to like Dominican University, getting involved in ministry, like, yeah, like it was an upside that I was getting paid. It was something to kind of keep me going, like for gas or something, little things that I might need as a college student. But that was never like the focus. Like the focus wasn't like the money, like the focus was the ministry work. And how is it that I'm having so much fun? Like I feel like I'm not working. It was just, to me, it's still like I'm speechless about it.
So what are the next steps? Her experience as a VYC young adult leader, a student minister at Dominican, and her internship in grad school as a campus minister at a Catholic high school will all feed her discernment. She wants to stay open and humble as she tests the waters, and hopefully get to continue with her favorite part so far, retreat ministry.
I believe the Viatorians have given me a way to do that as well, like because they see my journey being in the youth group and then now studying at CTU, and they're like always kind of like, oh, what are your next plans, and like I come to them, I'm like, this is like, something that I might want to do, like be a campus minister, and they're always kind of like, yeah, like let's see how you can like get involved, where we can put you in, and I'm like, yes, like let me know. And like, for example, this past VYC, like I was a leader, and instead of just being a y'all, like a young adult leader, I was a YAC, which is a young adult coordinator. And I was like, whoa, like this is something very new, because I've been just kind of like a leader and I'm used to being just kind of like a leader, and now being a YAC, it definitely put me out of my comfort zone, but like in a good way. I like that they gave me that opportunity to just embrace my leadership abilities, and like also given that my involvement from like a young age, and like everything that I've learned from being in the youth group at St. Viator to being in like youth ministry at Dominican to like now being at CTU, like as a grad student, everything that I've learned, it played a role into like me being a yak. They saw the potential in me that I guess I didn't see in myself because I was just so comfortable in just being like just a y'all. I definitely now have a strong feel of what I want to do after I graduate. Like I want to be a campus minister, specifically in like higher ed, but wherever you get like that opportunity. This next school year, I will be doing like an internship at St. Ignatius High School, and I will be in their campus ministry. Everyone in my life that has been that leader for me, for example, like Hector, and then Andrew Mercado, director of university ministry at Dominican, and then the Viatorians as well. They've all given me a platform to be and bring ideas to the table. I want to be able to be like that as well, like as a campus minister. Hey, like bring those ideas and then like let's get it done, let's do it. And then also just be there for young adults and teenagers, that are maybe struggling in their faith journey, and just kind of be a reminder to them like, hey, it's okay. It's like your faith journey is not like a straight line, you have like your bumps in the road. Sometimes you might like fall back. Like myself, I had like a setback during COVID. That era was like very fuzzy and not the best for me in my experience, but I always found my way back. God is there, like just kind of be like of that guide for them. Like if they ever have doubts, hey, meet them where they're at. It's okay to not feel like 100%, but then also like support them when they are feeling that 100% like in their faith journey. I enjoy doing retreats for any like students or young adults, and seeing how others can put that together and seeing how they use their faith in that retreat. The fact that I will still be learning from them. Every time I lead or I've led a retreat, like I always find myself learning from the participants. For like we're at a different stages in our faith life, and somebody might have a stronger faith at this point in their life than like maybe this other participant, and it's like whatever like that one person says, like it might ignite like a little spark in this other participant, and it's like, whoa, like I didn't think of it this way. So just learning from everyone, I'm like, wow, like everyone has like very like fiery hearts, and it's cool to like also learn different perspectives. I feel like also just never being like closed off to like what I just learned, like especially in grad school, but always being open to what these students or young adults have, because everyone's like experience and perspectives are different. So they might like interpret something in a different way. And I'm like, whoa, I never thought of it this way. Maybe I will use like that form of prayer, for example, being like of a support to them and of a guidance of some sort to like, oh yeah, in their faith journey when they're kind of like doubting or when they're not the strongest, like like meeting them where they're at and like supporting them in wherever they need that support, and then also like continuing learning especially from them.
For Viv, a lot of this discernment is still ongoing, even as she nears the end of her grad program and her first ministry job hunt. Yet, there's a few insights that are worth sharing with teens, college students, and young adults who are listening. Viv has some ideas about how you can keep praying for sure. And most of all, she hopes people will keep their hearts open to others, and especially to God and God's invitations.
Some forms of prayer that I find very helpful is like praying through music. I feel like I let myself like feel the music, and I'm able to like give myself up to God in through music and like him to hear me. I have a dog, so I enjoy going on walks with her. Of course, like the walks are for her, but then like, they benefit me at the end. And like in my walks, I'm just kind of like praying and talking, like literally just talking to God, just having a conversation. And that's a form of prayer. And Father John, he has like a prayer book. He writes people's names in like a notebook. So that's also really cool because then he can pray for these people. Being like someone who is very forgetful, that is very helpful for me, because then I'm like, just pray for these people, because then I feel like I probably would have forgotten too, if I'm being honest. So using like a prayer book, even just been journaling in it, has been helpful. just to like gain a better like relationship with God and like still like being very prayerful and adapting that to my daily life, being open to God's invitation, being open to other perspectives, being open to your heart, what others might be bringing to the table, because then you can bring something that others wouldn't have thought of. So being open to like receiving and like giving would probably be the best thing I can say. For now, since I am in grad school, like studying theology, I guess that invitation to find out like more about like the program that I'm in, Pathways at CTU, where my director of campus ministry at Dominican, where he was like, he saw something in me that I didn't, because I didn't see myself continuing education, especially in theology, since I didn't study theology in undergrad. He was like, hey, I think you'd be really good for this program. This is like a school of theology and ministry. So I was like, oh, I don't know. But he saw something in me that I didn't see. And that's when I was like, okay, like maybe, I will like find out more about this. And actually, the scholarship that I'm on is through the Viatorians, which is kind of like a full circle moment for me. There's Viatorians that go to CTU as well, and like how Viatorians see like they saw something in me, and like to be able to be offered the scholarship from them, I was like, it really was like a full circle moment.
That's all for this episode of Viatorian Voices. We'd like to thank Viv for her witness. We pray for her studies at CTU alongside Viatorians and ask God's blessings on her emerging career serving the people of God in pastoral ministry. Viatorian Voices Conversations on the Way is a production of the Viatorian community. Viatorians are professed brothers and priests and women and men lay associates. Together we proclaim Jesus Christ in the gospel and raise communities where faith is lived, deepened, and celebrated. In the footsteps of the Venerable Louis Querbes and under the patronage of St. Viator, we strive to do everything well so that through us Jesus may be adored and loved. This includes Viatorian young adults. As young people graduate from our high schools and move away from our parishes, we want to help them stay connected and rooted in our Viatorian faith and identity. On Instagram, follow @ViatorianYA on the way, where you can keep anchored in Viatorian reflection and joy and keep tabs on your peers from across our Viatorian family. Hop on Instagram and follow ViatorianYA on the way to connect. To learn more about our community, visit Viatorians.com or follow us on social media @ViatorianUSA. Those seeking support and accompaniment in exploring God's invitations for them are invited to reach out to Vocation Ministry. Send us a DM on social media or email us at vocations@Viatorians.com to start a conversation. Remember, you can help us tell the Viatorian story by rating our podcast in your favorite app, sending this episode link to a friend, and praying for and encouraging young men considering Viatorian religious life. On behalf of the Viatorian community, I'm Associate Dan Masterton. Venerable Louis Querbes, inspire us. St. Viator, pray for us. Adored and loved be Jesus.